I understand this won't be a very popular video. Bruce Lee is loved worldwide. But the reality is, he would have never made it to the top unless he sold out. You can clearly see those devil horns. And there's nothing new under the sun. Michael Jackson did it. Another sellout. Katy Perry. Fans are indoctrinated in the satanic system. So again, you understand how the elite work, the so-called elite, when they have their puppets flash those devil horns. Bruce Lee would have never made in this world unless he sold out. And reading one of these quotes from the past, where Bruce Lee states, "I wish neither to possess nor to be possessed. I no longer covet paradise." What does he mean by covet paradise? More important, I no longer fear hell. So paradise, in other words, being heaven, but he no longer fears hell. It says a lot. Now let's take a look at those that own and control the movie industry, and let's break down the symbolism. Okay, you see CBS Fox. CBS stands for Columbia Broadcasting System. And of course, the Statue of Liberty is the Masonic goddess Columbia. Now Fox, like I've mentioned many times, in numerology, is 666. So when you see these films being released by Fox, and by the way, of course, 20th Century Fox, of course, as I mentioned, Fox 666, so again, 20th Century Fox, CBS Fox, all the same. And let's take a look at a little bit more of the opening for the Game of Death with Columbia Pictures. It's Masonic goddess Columbia, or Apollo. As I've mentioned before, Columbia Pictures. Now, it's a little bit off topic, but I'm going to cover it anyways. The sun symbolism under the dome. And now taking a look at some more footage, the opening intro from the Game of Death. You're going to see some more occultic symbols. And let's break this down. Now, right there, that's the broken pentagram. I'm going to explain that.
When we obey God, we're not doing it for God.
An example here with Joel Osteen's wife Victoria pointing straight up at that broken pentagram. The same thing with Lockheed Martin and the broken pentagram right here as well. And the same thing with Russia with this logo. And it's basically the same thing as Lockheed Martin, but in reverse. It says Mir as in the world. So it goes to show how the world's a stage and Russia and the U.S. are all working together. And of course with Washington, D.C., with the streets shaped as a broken pentagram as well. So with Masonic writer Manly P. Hall stating the broken pentagram is used by black magicians to conjure up demons in order to control them for their selfish desires. So people might ask, what does this have to do with Bruce Lee? Bottom line is, the world's a stage, and all the players, they're working for the Satanists. So, no matter your opinions on Bruce Lee, if you like him, don't like him, the bottom line is, his masters, the ones he was working for, were Masonic Satanists. And now to break down some more symbolism from the Game of Death, take a look again at the intro. What do you see here? Pause. And what does this look like? Just like Chase Manhattan Bank, it's the hidden swastika. All in plain sight, like usual. Now to break down some satanic symbolism from the Game of Death. Understand it's always going to be there in all these movies. People see it all the time. So they become immune to it. It's nothing new. They do it more and more in movies today, but they did it back then as well. With this movie being released in the 70s. Take a look.
Hands and feet have been known to disappear.
So again, with these satanic symbols, always, present in movies. There's nothing new under the sun. And there you go. Again with the symbol, the devil horns, and even movies such as The Breakfast Club that was released in 1985, a movie that seems innocent enough based on teenagers being held in detention, the teacher throwing out the devil horns. From the same scene, this time you can see the motion he's making. 100% Satanism in Hollywood. These are just actors. They're being told what to do. This is not his idea. This is not his doing. Again, he's just doing what he's told by those that run Hollywood that are nothing but Satanists. And understand the name Hollywood and where it comes from, where it derives from. It comes from basically the ancient Druid meaning, where they used to make witches' wands and magic wands out of holly trees. So basically Hollywood is witchcraft. And just like with Disney, where it states here where magic lives, as I've stated many times, Walt Disney was a Freemason. All of them are Freemasons. All those that make it to the top of this world are Freemasons. All those under them are puppets of the satanic Freemasons. And during this fight scene with one of the Guardians, look at what Bruce Lee carves on the Guardian's forehead. The well-known X in Satanism, just like Kevin Sullivan, the former professional wrestler, has on his forehead. And many Satanists use this as their symbol, of course. And another image with Kevin Sullivan in his pro wrestling group from Florida. Now, as far as the supposed death of Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee, his son, I find this pretty interesting. With the scenario of Brandon Lee supposedly being shot and killed with a bullet lodged in a prop gun that was supposedly a blank back in 1993 during the filming of the movie Crow. And with this scene from the Game of Death, with Bruce Lee supposedly being shot and killed during the filming of a movie, I find it pretty interesting. That's exactly what supposedly happened to Brandon Lee. Take a look.
Gentlemen, these are blanks.
Now he's talking about blanks, the director. Again, supposedly how Brandon Lee was killed. They're supposed to use blanks, but yet being killed by a real bullet, supposedly.
Steam upward. There's a wad of paper that comes out and injures someone.
And right here, he puts a real bullet in his gun.
Action!
Happened.
Again, supposedly The same thing that happened to his son. This time in the movie, the connection to me, to me, I just find, like I've stated many times in the past, they're going to tell us the truth in movies and tell us lies in the news. Of course, during the filming of The Game of Death, Bruce Lee was already supposedly dead. But in this scene in the hospital, Bruce Lee talks to the doctors about faking a funeral for himself so that he can continue living his life in the shadows and even keeping that secret from his girlfriend. And this is how I believe they might potentially have kept Bruce Lee alive all these years. I can't say that for a fact. We don't really know. But this is potentially truth in the movie.
And you still want to go through with this?
Yeah.
The only reason I consider this is a simple argument. Should you walk upon the street, undoubtedly there'll be another attempt upon your life.
You agree?
It will be a complete falsification of documents. Death certificate. Somebody will have to inform the press and taken a turn for the worse, relapse. And there's a question of a change of identity.
No identification, however. You should tell him.
No. No one else must know. If she knows, could be in danger.
Public funeral, open casket. After all, this
Rachel. Be very believable.
And this is how they fool the masses. Just like so many so-called celebrity deaths in Hollywood, where they have funerals. You cannot bypass the funeral. They fake them, and the masses believe it. They fall for hook, line, and sinker. Take a look. And this is supposedly real footage of Bruce Lee's funeral. That's supposedly really Bruce Lee. So while all the masses are at Bruce Lee's fake funeral, he's really alive and well, and he's going through some facial surgery. And in this scene, after the mob boss was attacked, they were suspicious that it was really Billy Lowe, the Bruce Lee character. And they go to this grave because they think it was him. And take a look, and you'll see, again, more truth in plain sight, which I believe that Bruce Lee never died, and this is what actually happened. They buried a dummy. Find this scene interesting, with all these celebrities that supposedly died, taken out. Who knows how many times they've actually done this with these fake funerals. Nothing but a dummy in the casket. And with this photo of Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee supposedly buried side by side in Seattle, Washington, who knows if this is reality in this world full of lies?